What is up, guys? It is DMG here, and today it's going to be more of a relaxed video. Basically, I'm just going to be showing you my most hated players and the worst players, in my opinion, in FIFA 17, along with my favorite and most liked players in FIFA 17. Since Team of the Year is almost here, and actually by the time this video is out, I think it will be Team of the Year once this video is out. That's kind of like the halfway mark a little bit, because I mean, technically it's not halfway, but I mean, FIFA isn't really doing anything in June, July, or in August, like the last few months when the next FIFA's coming out. Like, it's not really there. It's kind of dead. So, you know, Team of the Season is kind of the last thing. Maybe a little bit of, maybe some new cards after that. Maybe just some of them, but it's pretty much dead for the most part. So this is kind of a halfway mark for you know, FIFA 17. So basically I'm just telling you my worst and least hated players along with my most favorite players. So we're gonna start with the worst players in my opinion. Now these could just be flat out terrible players, and these are going to be players who are not worth their price. Players that are not, you know, like, that are high rated but are just flat out not good. They're just not good enough for their rating, it seems like. So in goal is Leno, Burned Leno. I mean, this guy just feels like an 80 overall, even less. He feels like he's less than 80 overall, but he's 86 overall. You expect him to be good. Like, not just like make saves that every goalkeeper should make, but he should be making saves that more often than not should be saved. Like, you expect him to make kind of fantastic saves. Honestly, you expect him to make that, but he just doesn't. He does not make any spectacular saves. The only saves that he has made that I've seen him make are just like normal, regular goalkeeper saves. Nothing spectacular. And when you buy 86 rated, you expect that. You expect like spectacular saves to be made. Not all the time, but at least some of the time. And in this case, I did not ever see them. At right back we have Valencia, and it's just like this guy tries to piss me off. Honestly, it just seems like he is trying to piss me off, because there are times where I have the ball with someone on the right side, and then there's Valencia, and he's just not getting open. He's either right next to the player, I need him to kind of stay back, and then he sprints forward, or I need him to sprint forward and he stays back. So it's just like he's trying to piss me off. He knows what I want, but he just refuses to do it and does the exact opposite thing. So it really, really pisses me off in that regard. Now for the center backs, Chiellini, he's one of those guys, like I mentioned earlier, that's not necessarily bad. Like, he's not good. He's not good, but he's just one of those players that's not 88 rated. It seems like he's not 88 rated, at least for me. Like, when I used him in Foot Champions, it just seemed like he was just one of the most unaggressive people. Like, he would just kind of watch people run by. He would just watch people run by. He wouldn't step into anything. The only time he would make tackles is if someone ran into him. That's the only time. He wouldn't go and chase someone, which was really frustrating. Cahill, basically the exact same thing as Chiellini, except Cahill is just stupider. He's just not a smart center back. You see, like the ball, there's a through ball coming through, and he can either like pinch in to stop it, or he can just stay in that left or right center back role wherever he is and just, you know, stay in position, you know. But he just does that. He just stays in position. He doesn't go after the ball, and he just does not want to tackle. He can't tackle. He's just not in good position. He's slow. Just overall, just a terrible center back. Just probably actually, I take that back. He is the worst center back I've used this year, without a doubt. Just the worst one. Now on to left back, Luke Shaw. Now, unlike Valencia, he doesn't try to piss me off, but he is just the stupidest player that I have. Like, Cahill's like really dumb, and he's the worst center back I've ever used. Shaw is stupider. Shaw is just the stupidest left back, because I see him making runs all the time, just sprinting forward for no reason. I have the ball on the right side of the field, and I just see Valencia just sprinting across the field, just sprinting up the field for literally no reason at all. So again, he doesn't try to piss me off like Valencia does. I think Valencia like legitimately tries to piss me off. But Shaw is just so bad. He's just so stupid. He just can't do anything. He is always out of position. So that entire left side is always vulnerable, no matter what, whenever he's in the game. Now on to the midfield. We have Turan, Souza, and Dembele. Now I know Dembele is going to surprise a few people, because people love Dembele. But for me, at least in this setup, and I've used him as like a right or left center mid in a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, he just doesn't move. Like, flat out. He does not get forward, he does not get back, and I think it's because of those medium work rates. he just does not want to do anything. He just sits in that role and goes like 20 yards forward past the past half field, and he goes 20 yards behind midfield. Just in that 20-yard gap. That's it. I never see him anywhere else, honestly. He's just the most infuriating player because he just refuses to go anywhere. Souza, just flat out bad. He's just a bad player. Just flat out not good at all. He's probably one of the worst center attacking mids I've used. Like 82 passing, 80 dribbling. It seems like he'd be decent, and especially with those high work rates. It seems like he'd be a decent center mid, but he's just never in the right position, and he's just flat out bad. Like, it seems like he can't make a pass, he can't make a shot, not fast enough, terrible stamina, like no strength. It seems like just overall just a really bad card. Then on to Turan, and again, I'm just not a fan of him because he just does not perform well for me. Like, his stats seem good, his passing seems good, his dribbling seems good, but he just does not perform well at all. And also the high work rates really destroy him. For me at least, he always runs out of stamina, like very quickly. Like by the 75th or 80th minute, he's pretty much dead for the most part. And by then he's useless. Like he's fairly useless before then, but then once he gets more tired, then he's just gone. Then it's like he's not even in the game. Now on to the attack. We have Lucas, Robben, and Timo Werner. Now Robben, he is similar to Chiellini and Berlino, just not good. He's just not good for the price tag that you get him. Like, he's not horrible. He's not a horrible player, but he's definitely not good. He's not a good player. He's not 87 rated. He feels like he's 81-ish, like 81 overall-ish. I mean, the 2-star weak foot also really hurts him. You have to shoot it on his left side. You have to shoot it with his left foot. And even then, you have to shoot the ball with him like 4 or 5 times in order to just get a goal with him. And, people will say, oh, it's you not finishing. Most of the time, I would agree with you. Most of the time, I would say, yeah, it's me not finishing. But there have been so many other players that just, shoot the ball and score with less shots than him. Like, he is the player that I've had to shoot the most shots with in order to score a goal. Honestly, I've had to shoot so many shots with him in order to just get one goal. So it's just really, and just frustrating. Just incredibly frustrating, the fact that he's 87 rated, has 85 shooting. If you put a hawk on him, he goes to like 90 plus shooting, goes to like 90 plus finishing and positioning and everything like that, and he still cannot put the ball in the back of the net with his strong foot. It's just incredibly frustrating. Now on to Lucas, just never in the right position, always seems to be out wide. Like, he wants to be on that touchline. He has to be on that touchline, otherwise he is not going to be in the game. Like, if you need him to cut inside, if I have him on cut inside, get him behind, he might get in behind, but he's just always going to be on that touchline. He is always going to be on that touchline. It's the most frustrating thing because he's never in the right position. Like, his run making is really bad because sometimes you have to pass it out wide and he's there. Sometimes that works, but he never makes runs. He never makes runs inside. If there's all of this space on from the middle of the field to the right touchline, he will always be on the right touchline no matter what. He will not cut inside for you. It's so, just positioning wise, he's just really bad. Werner, I know he's 75 rated. I know he has 70 shooting, but even then, he has one of the worst shot to goal ratios I've used in this FIFA. Like, it's almost as bad as Robben's. Now again, he's 75 rated, 70 shooting. He's probably not going to finish that well. But again, it's the run making. It's the run making that he has that is incredibly frustrating. And again, 75 rated. You don't expect a lot from him, but I mean, it's just blatant. It's just blatant the way that he misses wide open runs. Like, there are silvers and bronzes that would be doing better than him because, all of this space through the middle, I tell him to stay central, it goes out wide. Goes out wide every single time. And there's all this space in the middle, he just refuses to do anything with it. Now, even though I hate all of these players right now, and I do not think they are really good, I will continue to keep using them. And that's the same thing for you guys. If you have any players that you hate, continue to use them, like, or at least continue to try them out, not use them, because if you hate them, why would you use them? But, you know, after a little bit of not using them, come back to them, try them again, and see if they're any different. Because it may just be, you know, the team that they were in that, you know, it wasn't working for them. Maybe the formation, the players around them, the instructions, the tactics, something. You know, something might not have clicked with them. Maybe, you know, Valencia and Shaw, they may be good left and right backs if I have, you know, left and right mids. So then they don't push up as much. You know, Chiellini might be better in a 3-man back or a 5-man back or something like that. Maybe he needs someone to... Maybe he needs like a more aggressive center back next to him, so then the other center back can, you know, push and try to make tackles, and then Chiellini can just cover his mistakes. Maybe he needs that. Maybe Turan needs to be in center attacking mid spot instead of, you know, left or right center mid. Maybe Dembele needs to be at defensive mid or center attacking mid or just a central center mid. You know, something like that. Like, keep trying out different positions for them. Keep trying out different ways, different tactics, and different instructions for them. But for now, they're just so bad. They're just the worst players I have used. And for majority of them, I think I know why. It's because, you know, Werner, medium, Lucas, medium, Dembele, medium, Cahill, medium. Just, that's probably the reason for the majority of them why, for me at least, they're not that good. Now into my favorite and who I think are the best players in FIFA 17. Now the bench is the honorable mentions. So, you know, once I go through the positions, these are kind of like the second choice players who I would go with if I can't have the first choice players, you know. So in goal, we have Farman, just so consistent. One of the most consistent players I've used. He is just absolutely fantastic. Like, he changes games for me because he just makes saves that a lot of keepers just don't. Like Leno, Handanovic, they just do not make saves, and they're higher rated. Buffon as well. Like, Farman's just beats all of them out without a doubt because he actually makes saves that, you know, I don't expect him to make, and he makes incredible saves. It's not like, you know, it's not like, oh, he's good for an 84 overall. He's just flat out good. Flat out. He is just fantastic. Now, the honorable mention in this case would be Pepe Reina. Probably one of the best one-on-one goalkeepers I've used. Just fantastic. Again, like one-on-one, he is probably one of the best, even maybe better than Farman. But the reason Farman beats out Reina is because Reina is only 6'2", so he's a little bit more vulnerable for long shots, whereas Farman, he gets to those long shots. Now onto the right back is Piszczek. Now, for my favorite right and left backs, I'm not really going to have a lot to say about them because they're just going to be okay. They're going to be decent because you guys know I hate left and right backs in this game. They're not that good for me, at least. So, you know, in this case, Piszczek is decent. He's usually in the right position. He makes the tackle a lot at the time. That's pretty much it. That's honestly pretty much it. For the honorable mention, we have Florenzi. Pretty much the exact same thing as Piszczek. Piszczek's just a little bit better at defending and positioning, but Florenzi can just shoot it. He has 79 shooting, which is better than his defending, because he actually used to be a winger or, you know, a right midfielder. So, you know, if you need a right back or left back that can shoot, Florenzi is your guy. Because while Piszczek's a little bit better at defending and a little bit better at positioning, Florenzi is much better at shooting. He can just destroy. He can just hit long shots all day. He can hit long shots all day. He single-handedly won me a FUT Champions match because of his shooting. So, you know, again, 79 shooting, fantastic, decent enough defender as well to where you can put him into the game and then enjoy his shooting as well. Now on to the center back, Socrates and Manolas. I'll be honest, I haven't really had amazing center backs this year. Socrates and Manolas are good. You know, they play like an 85 or an 86 rated center back. But, you know, the only thing that I like about these guys more than most other center backs is they're just more consistent. They consistently perform at the 85 or 86 level. You know, there may have been some center backs where, you know, they perform a lot better. For example, in the honorable mentions, we have Smalling. On his day, Smalling is probably one of my favorite defenders, but he's just not as consistent as, you know, Manolas or Socrates. So, you know, Smalling can perform at like an 89 or 90 center back level, but he's not consistently there. If he was consistently there, then he would be in the team for sure. But he's not just consistently there, whereas these guys consistently play at a fairly high level. Now, the other honorable mention for center back is Toprak. Again, they're pretty much just like Menelaus and Socrates. You know, he's just consistent. He plays like an 85 rated, like 84 and 85 rated. He plays fairly well. He's consistent, and that 5-star weak foot's actually really handy. But, you know, the other guys are just more consistent. They're a little bit better as well in their consistency. Like, you know, these two center backs, Menelaus and Socrates, they play at like an 87 rated, you know, overall. Toprak around 84, 85. Like, he plays at that level, but 84 is not a bad rating, you know. He plays well enough to where it's actually an 84 rated, so he's good enough there. Now at the left back spot, we have Wendell, and like I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to have a lot to say about the left and right backs. Wendell is similar to Pitch Check, just usually in the right position, usually makes the tackle, and that's pretty much it. And that's what honorable mention is Van Aanholt. Again, very similar to what I've said about the other left and right backs. Usually in the right position, usually makes a tackle. Simple as that, honestly, just simple as that. Like I said, I have not really had any good left and right backs that are stand out. So that's pretty much all I have to say about left and right backs. Now on to the midfield, we have Sissoko, Conte, and Nainggolan. Now Sissoko, he's off chem, which I think makes it even crazier, the fact that he's one of my favorite center mids. It's because he's probably the most consistent player. Because I know where he's going to be, I know what he's capable of, and he consistently performs at that level. Is he going to hit bangers like all the time? No. Is he capable of them? Is he able to hit like one or two every now and then? Yes. And he does. Is he gonna get back and forth? Yes, I know he's capable of that. It seems like he has high work rates instead of high medium. He's just a powerful center mid, and it's just amazing for him to be in that role. Just fantastic. The other center mid is Conte, really solid guy. I'd rather have him at defensive mid rather than center mid, but at defensive mid he's just fantastic. If there's a ball on the ground, he will get to it every single time. Like, he intercepts the ball constantly. He tackles constantly. It's one of the best defensive mids I've used in pretty much all of FIFA, in any FIFA. Now for the other center mid is Nainggolan. I have not used a player where he instantly impacts the game like Nainggolan. I had a few players in there before, and then during Foot Champions, I just bought Nainggolan, just kind of an impulse thing, just bought Nainggolan, threw him in, and instantly, literally, first 10 minutes, I could instantly tell that Nainggolan was fantastic. I could instantly tell that it was a huge upgrade. Like I said, there was no other player that I knew instantly that it was an upgrade. He's just fantastic. He can do everything. He can pass, he can shoot, he can defend. He's very physical. He has high work rates. He will get back. He will attack for you. Pretty much one of the best all-around center mids I have used in all of FIFA. Now for the honorable mentions, we have Ndaya, Eremenko, of course, and Kayate. These guys are just incredibly solid. Like Ndaya, I had him in my starter team at the start of the year, and he's just solid. He's just fantastic. Now, it says I haven't played any games with them because I bought him at the start of the year and then just sold him just to get some coins back for a new team. But 6'3", medium high, just solid. Like, honestly, he can also get forward, surprisingly. Like, he's not great at it, but I mean, if you have the ball with him and you're going forward, just trust him. Just keep going with him. He's not like horrible at it, and he always intercepts it. He's probably one of the best best interceptors of the ball that I've seen, at least at defensive mid. Like, he is on par with Conte. He is on Conte's level for intercepting. That's how good he is at getting the ball. Eremenko is just one of my favorite players. He's much better from last year, unfortunately. Like, he's just a lot better from last year. I've been using him as super sub. He's gotten 70 goals. He's been involved in 70 goals in 86 games, which is decent. He's not as OP as last year. In fact, it hurts me to say this, but he's not really OP this year, it just really pains me to say that, but he's not really OP as much, especially compared to last year. Like, last year, best player in the game, my favorite player without a doubt, just fantastic. This year, not so much, unfortunately, but he still does well enough to get him an honorable mention. He still does well enough because he's usually in the right position. He can bang in long shots, of course. He's like the long shot master. And he has medium-high work rates. So if you have him at attacking mid, he will get forward because he's and he's in an attacking role. But he also gets back, which is really nice. Now at the other honorable mention spot, we have Kayute. This guy is fantastic. He really is. He is probably one of the better, one of the better defensive mids. I've had a lot of success at defensive mids because, Conte, Nzaya, Kayute, for example. But at defensive mid, he's just a tank. Just an absolute beast. 77 pace is really good. 77 defending is not bad, but 87 physical is fantastic. 6'4", high work rates. And again, he gets forward, surprisingly. Like you may not really want him to because you may get caught out on the attack, on the counter a little bit. But he's capable of just scoring goals. Like, I know he only has 4 goals, but he's in that defensive mid spot, so he's not going to be in forward all the time. But he's just fantastic. Like, again, he's really aggressive, which is what I like. He goes after the ball. So while he may not make the tackle necessarily, he may not make the interception necessarily, he will force someone else to do it. He will force someone else to get a tackle interception. He forces mistakes from the opposition, which is really nice. Now for the front 3, we have Wonderwatch Mbolo, Konoplyanka, and Martial. Now, starting with Wonderwatch Mbolo, he's just like, I said before I sold him that he kind of dropped off a little bit. Like, he was probably getting 3 or 4 goals in 10 matches, and for him that's not good. But at the start, when I was using him, first 100, I think I played like over 150 games with him. First probably 90 or first 100 games, fantastic. One of the best forwards I've used. He's just fantastic. And I sold him just because he himself wasn't performing that well. He wasn't living up to his standards. Every other right forward or right winger that I put in that spot just was not even close to him. Was not even close. I immediately regretted selling him. Immediately. So Mbolo, one of the best players. The low-driven shot, gets it every time. Literally gets it every time. Now at the left forward spot, we have Konoplyanka. Probably my favorite player from this year. Honestly, probably my favorite player so far. Because while he can come in, while he can change a game, while his left foot is freaking amazing. It's only a 4-star weak foot, but driven shot, far post across the or across goal, he gets it 99 times out of 100. Honestly, his left foot's amazing. Even while all of that, that's not why he's my favorite player. He's my favorite player because he's just so much fun to use. He's got that what if factor that a lot of other players do not have. So, what if I shoot this long shot with him? What if I try to pike it with him? What if I try to do something spectacular with him? What will happen? What if I try that? He will do those things. He will hit long shot bangers. He will bike it for you. He just has that factor he just has that what if factor. Simple as that. That will make you love FIFA. So that's why he's my favorite player. He's good, obviously. He's fantastic. In 187 games, he's gotten 163 goals. He's been involved in 163 goals in 187 games. Like I said, fantastic. He's great to use. He's a great player, but he's just so much fun. Now on for the final player, we have Martial. Just a game changer. Just an absolute game changer. I did say that when I used him, he wasn't really there 70 or 25% of the time. A quarter of the time he wasn't there, which isn't great. But whenever he does play, he is absolutely stand out. He is the best player on the pitch, without a doubt. If he shows up to the game, he is without a doubt the best, without a doubt. And again, weak foot's amazing. He's got that 4-star weak foot, which he will put away majority of the time. 6 foot, so he can get headers. Just overall one of the best attackers that I've used this year. Just absolutely fantastic. Now for the honorable mentions, we have Firmino, Ben Yedder, and SBC Douglas Costa. Firmino, you guys know I loved using him. In the 57 games that I've played, he's gotten 47 goals. So really good there. And in a way, he's also a game changer. Martial is just explosive, though. Martial is explosive. While Firmino's not explosive, he can also just change the game. He can also just score goals, just out of nowhere. You're losing or it's tied, Firmino's not really in the game, and all of a sudden he just popped up with a goal. Just out of nowhere. He just does that constantly. And that's exactly what you need. Someone who just constantly scores goals for you where you really need it. The other person, another guy, Ben Yedder, I do have him at cam, but you can also put him at center forward or striker. He's got a 5-star weak foot and 4-star skills. That 5-star weak foot's amazing. But he just hits bangers, surprisingly. He hits long shots for days. And he's really good on the ball. He's 5'7", so he can maneuver on the ball. He's good at agility, good at balance, and his dribbling is also not bad. But just again, like really fun to use. He's just a really overpowered player. Like he's 80 overall, but he's pretty overpowered. If you need someone who's cheap and will get you the job done, Benender's your guy. And then finally we have SBC Costa. He puts goals in the back of the net. You know, like he always provides goals. Like if you look at this, he's gotten 166 goals in 172 matches. He just shows up with goals. He may not score them, he may get assists. You know, he scores goals, he gets assists, but you know, it seems like he doesn't do anything on the pitch. You know, it seems like he doesn't do anything. You know, there are times where he does. There are times where he does show up and he's spectacular, but sometimes it seems like he doesn't do anything. But literally every single game, it seems like he has a goal or an assist. Like there are games where it's you know you show up and you play the game and you're like, wow, okay, Costa's not there. He didn't do anything that game. You look at the stats afterwards and it turns out he had a goal and an assist. And it's hard to remember what they were because they're nothing really spectacular, but he just gets it done, and you have to respect that. So he is probably definitely one of my favorite favorite attackers this year. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. This is it telling me what my favorite and least favorite players were from FIFA 17. In the comments, let me know what your guys' favorite players and least favorite players were thus far in FIFA 17. But like I said, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been DMG. Peace. Wants to. The only problem that I had with him is that some games he literally just does not show up. Like he just disappears, it seems like. There will be